Hey guys, Erickson here with GoalityLife.com, where I help people live incredibly fit every day with effective training and nutrition strategies. If this is your first time watching, welcome. You made a great decision. Now let's dive into the video. Alright you guys, like I said, today's topic is fat. So be sure to stay until the end to learn all the information and be up to date about the truth about fat. Okay, so here is the article that I'm talking about, and it's called The Truth About Fats. It comes from WebMD, and what they did was they interviewed 4 fat experts, and this is what they had to say. Number 1, it says here that fat has more functions in the body than we thought. And this is from Rachel Whitmer, a PhD research scientist at the Kaiser Permanente Division of Research in Oakland, California. And she's been studying the links between fat and brain health. Okay. Now, it also is known that fat is known to have 2 main purposes. Okay. And this is according to Susan Fried, PhD director of the Boston Obesity and Nutrition Research Center in Boston University, and a longtime researcher in the field. Okay, and according to her, the fat stores excess calories in a safe way. Let me pull it up in a safe way, so you can mobilize the fat stores when you're hungry. Okay, and then also fat releases hormones that control metabolism. Okay, pretty important functions of fat, right? Now, it goes on to explain that there's actually 6 types of fat, okay? And I just wanted to go over and highlight with you some of the key points behind each of these, okay? So I don't know if you've ever heard of brown fat. I've actually not heard of that until I read this. But anyhow, it says that more lean people have this kind, okay? And that's also interesting that what's interesting about this is that when stimulated, it burns calories, okay? And what they're saying is that scientists are eyeing it as a potential obesity treatment if they can figure out a way to increase a person's brown fat or stimulate existing brown fat. Pretty exciting, I think. And so if you're lean, you probably have more brown fat, okay? All right, so and the second type here I want to just touch on is white fat. And white fat is much more plentiful than brown, experts agree. The job of white fat is to store energy and produce hormones that are then secreted into the bloodstream. Okay? And then it says that small fat cells produce a good guy hormone called adiposity, and which makes the liver and muscles sensitive to the hormone insulin, in the process making us less susceptible to diabetes and heart disease. And it goes on to say when people become fat, the production of adipectin, I think that's what it's called, how do you pronounce it, slows down or shuts down, setting them up for disease, according to Fried and others. Okay, so it does produce a good hormone. And adiponectin is a good thing. Okay, so let's keep that in mind about white fat. Okay, all right. The next fat is subcutaneous. You may have heard of this one. Subcutaneous is found directly under the skin. It's the fat that measured under skin fold calipers to estimate your total body fat. If you've ever gone to a gym or health center and they've grabbed your skin and they measured your body fat, well, they grabbed the subcutaneous fat. Okay. Now, in terms of overall health, subcutaneous fat in the thighs and buttocks, for instance, may not be as bad as many have potential. It may have some potential benefits, says Cypress. It may not cause as many problems as other types of fat, specifically the deeper visceral fat, he says. Okay. Now, something he also says, but subcutaneous cells on the belly may be another story, says Fried. There's emerging evidence that the danger of big bellies lies not only in the deep visceral fat, but also the subcutaneous fat. Okay, so if you have a big belly, you have to be careful because that might be a sign of a lot of visceral fat. Okay, and speaking of visceral fat, that's the next type, which is visceral or deep fat wraps around the inner organs and spells trouble for your health. So if you have a big belly, this is not good. Okay, so visceral fat is thought to play a larger role in insulin resistance, which boosts risks of diabetes than other fats. Now, Whitmer investigated a link between visceral fat and dementia, actually. In a study, she evaluated the records of more than 6,500 members of Kaiser's Permanente of North California, a large health maintenance organization, for an average of 36 years from the time they were in their 40s until they were in their 70s. And the records included details on height, weight, and belly diameter, a reflection of the amount of visceral fat. Those with the biggest bellies had a higher risk of dementia than those with smaller bellies. The link was true even for people with excess belly fat but overall of normal height. Okay, so there is a relationship between visceral fat, big bellies, and dementia. Okay, all right. So now speaking of belly, okay, there's belly fat. Okay, now it says here belly fat has gotten a mostly deserved reputation as an unhealthy fat. Okay, understandably, the belly fat is both visceral and subcutaneous. Says Kristen Gill Harrison, MD, MPH, and assistant professor of medicine at Wake Forest University School of Medicine, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Now, we don't have a perfect way yet to determine which of belly fat is subcutaneous or visceral, except by CT scan, but that's not cost effective, she says. But if you got an oversized belly, figuring out how much is visceral and how much is subcutaneous isn't as important as recognizing a big belly is unhealthy, she says. How big is too big? Women with a waist circumference more than 35 inches and men with a waist circumference more than 40 inches are at an increased disease risk. Okay? And so you have to be careful about your waist size. Now, abdominal fat is viewed as a bigger health risk than hip or thigh fat, Whitmer and other experts say. And that could mean having a worse effect on insulin resistance, boosting the risk of diabetes, and a worse effect on blood lipids, boosting heart and stroke risks. Okay, so we've got to watch out for this belly fat, abdominal fat. Okay, all right, let's move on. There is something called thigh and buttocks fat. Now, unsightliness aside, emerging evidence suggests that pear-shaped women are protected from metabolic disease compared to big-bellied people, said Fried. Thigh fat and butt fat might be good, she says, referring to the area's stores of subcutaneous fat. But the benefit of women's being pear-shaped may stop at menopause, when women tend to deposit more fat in the abdomen. So it's important to understand that pear shape is okay, it says here, but then all of a sudden after menopause, women tend to deposit more fat in the abdomen, which basically means that it goes back to the belly fat and the visceral fat, okay, that surrounds the organs. All right, so now they go into this area of weight loss and fat loss, okay, and how it works. So they say, so when you lose weight, what kind or kinds of fat do you shed? And she says you're losing white fat, okay? People tend to lose evenly all over, though, okay? The results change a bit. However, if you add workouts to your calorie reduction, she says, if you exercise plus diet, you will tend to lose slightly more visceral fat from your belly, okay, which is good, right? You want to reduce that visceral fat from your belly specifically. And when you're and to basically conclude that we're at an exciting point in science, echoing the input from other scientists in the field. Now, Whitmer and other experts, Whitmer and others expect more discoveries about fat of all types to be made in the near future. Okay, so there's hope for scientists to learn more about how fats hurt or help the body and what kinds are the best, right? And so hopefully that summary and this video has opened your mind to the types of fats that exists, which ones you should look out for, and which ones that are going to be beneficial, right? All right, so I hope you guys learned something about fat, and I made this video also to bring your attention to the fitness side of things, and I want to share with you what I've created to help you burn some of that excess fat that you might have, okay? And I put this guide together, and it's called Eliminate Unwanted Body Fat, okay? And included in this workout guide are 2 workouts that you can do to help yourself burn extra calories from your body, okay? And so I think this is awesome because for some of us, we're not sure how to work out, right? And that most effective way to burn calories. And so this is a workout that I've developed so that you can do that efficiently and easily, okay? And all you have to do is enter your name and email and hit this button right here that says I want the body fat workouts, okay? And it will be sent to your email inbox right away so that you can begin working out safely and effectively, okay? And so this is my gift to you, and I hope you guys decide to grab it right away. All right, you guys, there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.